If you've ever engaged with any piece of media which you've related to or enjoyed, you've probably also come across OCs made for said media. Or maybe you've been inspired to go and dust off that story that's been sitting on your shelf for months, or open that Word document again and finally finish it, post your characters on social media, or even eventually publish your own book, because you and me both know that story would be absolutely fire. But somewhere along the way, you hit a roadblock once more, and now you're wondering if your characters, let alone your story, are even slightly good. If you've been there, hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Roxa, and I can help you fix that problem and stay motivated. Well, mostly. The first, and in my own opinion, the most important part of creating your own characters and the world which they exist in is to do a lot of trial and error and just trust the process and the road you're taking. Say you've made a character a while back, and when you did, it was one of the best ideas you'd ever brought into existence, but now they don't seem all that appealing to you anymore. Don't ever, and I mean ever, scrap that character or idea entirely. Break down your own character and analyze them. Find out what you still like about them and which aspects of them don't interest you anymore. Once you've done that, find out why you don't like those aspects and why you originally really enjoyed them. It could be because you've gotten older, or that you've engaged with more medias, maybe your preferences have changed, or maybe your writing and if you're drawing your story then your art has improved and the older versions simply no longer satisfy you. It could also be that you've received constructive criticism and it's helped you make better decisions. Whatever the reason may be, keep those older versions of your art or writing. Keep the parts that you still like and learn from the parts you don't really like anymore. You don't need to start from ground zero every time. You have to leave yourself a base to start off of for the next time. This one's my personal favorite, making fandom OCs. What I find infinitely fun and useful about making OCs for your favorite media is that you're putting a character in an already pre-existing world setting and established rules. And there are a bunch of other characters present as well. What's particularly helpful about this is that you get to focus on the way you write characters and how someone written by you would engage with certain tropes, people, or situations. This also helps if you're experimenting with your own world building and makes it easier for you to shape the world around your characters or vice versa. In other words, it kinda makes you pour all of your attention into one aspect of writing rather than taking on multiple heavy and demanding tasks and burning yourself out. It's also incredibly fun to do, so what else do you need? You should also keep an eye out for trending audios. These can be songs or just dialogues from movies or series, and they are popular for a reason. You don't need to base your characters entirely on these, but sometimes an audio really clicks for a part of your character's personality, and that can help you expand on some of their characteristics or traits. Speaking of traits, giving your characters some small but meaningful ones that complement their personality and make them more human can be a great help. These include, but are not limited to, flaws, habits, what they love to eat and what they absolutely despise, what small thing gets on their nerves, what helps them focus, their favorite animal, which animal they're scared of. Do they maybe have a sweet tooth? Do they scribble on a piece of paper without even realizing they're doing it? These small things make your characters more relatable and easier for people to understand, as they might reveal a side to them that's not usually visible in the story or to other characters they interact with. Once you have a general idea of how your story goes, start writing. The details may not all come together on your 3rd or 10th rewrite, but these are drafts we're talking about. One example I can mention is the first few chapters of my own story. The main character, Eleanor, is worried because she's turning 21. I spent a good few chapters emphasizing this point, and I never once mentioned the why in my first draft. But having written those chapters down is what helped me understand what was lacking. Eleanor isn't nervous just because she's turning 21. She's nervous because a royal ball is being held in which she's supposed to pick a partner, and she's not ready for that yet. What I'm trying to say is this: if you focus too much on every single detail there is before you even start, I fear you're not gonna make much, if any, progress at all. So just pick up that pen, open that Word document, and start writing. You're gonna figure it out. This mostly works if you're writing a character rather than drawing them, but I think there's an alternative for drawing as well, and that is to make a base for yourself and then figure out the full design of your character, aka their facial features or their clothes, by drawing them multiple sketches without including a lot of details, kinda like doing thumbnail sketches. You need to keep in mind that art and writing are both incredibly subjective, and even the safest story routes or the most trusted character tropes are still not liked by everyone who engages with them. It's like baking cookies, in a way, especially if you're trying out a new recipe or mixing in some new flavors. Although the first batch may be terrible, the second batch and the ones after that are gonna get better and better as you learn what you need to fix and what measurements to use. Eventually, they're going to taste perfect to you, but if you give them to someone who doesn't like that flavor of cookies, it's still gonna taste terrible to them. And when that inevitably happens, it won't be your fault, and it won't be anyone else's fault either, because no matter what, you can never keep everybody satisfied, and that's okay. So my advice is to just make something that you yourself genuinely like and enjoy, because chances are if you love what you're doing, a good number of other people will like it too. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have fandoms. Of course, generally speaking, this is not an excuse for you to abandon practicing your art or writing and ignoring the fundamentals. Let's go back to the cookie recipe. You can't possibly insist on repeating the same mistakes in your baking process and expect people to like it while saying it's just the unique way you bake cookies. There's still important baseline knowledge that you need to learn before improving. And once you've done that, it's only then that you can say that people not liking your cookies is based on subjective opinion. So, yeah, learn the fundamentals first. Going back to fandoms, don't be afraid to take inspiration from your favorite pieces of media. This can include, but is not limited to, designs, colors, vibes, story and world building, etc., etc. The important thing is to have fun. This also ties back to analyzing your own characters in a way, kinda in the sense that you can very easily see which aspects of a certain character keep you hooked and entertained. Of course, this should only be a tool with which you understand your own work and characters better, not to create a one-on-one character. Something else I find really useful is to create mood boards. Your mood boards can be both physical, like scrapbooking is really good, for example, or just simple pictures in your Pinterest or gallery or whatever other app you like using. This could eventually lead to you creating your own character sheets, which is also another great way of knowing your own characters. This is also another one of my favorites, and that is to brainstorm with your friends. My friends and I frequently talk to each other about our characters and share and compare ideas, while also actively criticizing each other's works when we feel like it would help the other improve. And of course, more importantly, we always keep it respectful. This really helps you get an outside perspective and see what someone else might think of your work. And that would be all for this video. If you're still here, I really hope this helped you in some way for making your own OCs in the future. If you enjoyed watching, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. If there's anything else you would like to see me talk about, please let me know in the comments. See you later, have a great time, and remember to stay hydrated. Bye!